I see no reason to suppose that, you know, the aliens aren't connected with just traditional daemons. The thing about daemons is that people always believe in them as real. And you can't say they're not literally real. And you can't say they're only metaphorically real. They're kind of both, because they belong to a worldview which doesn't make that distinction.
So much of what you said I completely agree with and resonate with, but there's this other element that
But I'm saying that a visionary experience is as real as real as anything. It's more real. The bottom line is, I think deep down, and I'm not going to stand on this, that if I was in the room when you were abducted, I wouldn't have seen you carried up your body going up through the ceiling.
Right, and I would say...
I really don't think that. Right. But I'm not ruling it out.
Would you feel at all threatened as a human being if these beings were coming here in the capacity that I'm describing?
Sure, yeah, who wouldn't?
And why? And what would the thing that you would feel threatened by?
Well, almost everything,
it's not an absurd question. It's not an absurd question.
It's absolutely not an absurd question, you know, but I mean, who wants to wake up in the middle of the night to find, you know, rather unpromising looking creatures who, you know, then completely take control of you and do exactly what they want with you.
It's easier for you to be sort of softer in your energy or your expression, because this is something that's just sort of an intellectual or full body sort of interest for you. This is a pursuit.
No, it's not. I'm passionate about it.
Okay. All right. So passionate about it.
I've been seized too.
Have you? By the idea, the notion.
I know that carries no weight with you. Unless you go through a wall,
that's not true.
You think you know.
No, that's not true.
You think I can't know anything because I haven't been snatched through a wall. But
no.
I'm doing the best I can under these constraints. You know.
I know. No.
I see this notion that we can find truth in personal testimony that John Mack relies on. I see that as the heart of the irrationalism that pervades our culture today. I think it makes us very gullible, and I think that it's very dangerous.
I don't know Dr. Mack. I have no idea whether there's any validity to his theories. I'm not an expert in the area, but I didn't know Galileo, and I would have come to his defense, even though I might not have known whether he was right or wrong. Universities are places to explore the outer reaches of possibilities, and surely Dr. Mack was well within the traditions of science and the university to explore these views. Whenever I speak out on behalf of academic freedom or freedom of speech, I generally don't focus on the right of the speaker, but rather limitations on the power of those who would censor. And what I was terrified about was the slippery slope that could be established by accepting an orthodoxy, a canon of what is acceptable science and what is not acceptable science at a great university. Harvard should not have official committees of inquiry looking into colleagues' academic methods. We have peer review. Peer review exists. Anybody who writes or publishes gets criticized by colleagues. The marketplace is open. This is not Stalin's Soviet Union, where you had one established view and there was no opportunity to critique it. Whenever you have a committee of the university, whatever they say their limited role is, there is tremendous in terrorem fear generated among particularly young academics. You know, the real victim of a committee of inquiry is not Dr. Mack, who has tenure. It's the young assistant professor who might want to follow some of this research, or who might want to think in another speculative way, who says to himself or herself, I don't have tenure. I might not even have been hired yet by the university. I want the right to think broadly. And the message that a committee sends, no matter how constrained its jurisdiction, is we're watching you, we're looking at you, and we have authority more than just the marketplace. The marketplace only gives you the right to write an article and to criticize. A committee votes, and we shouldn't be voting on people's research. That's the virtue of a great university, the ability to sit side by side, criticize each other's work, and hope that, you know, someday, maybe in the distant future, some notion or proximity to truth will emerge from the collective diversity of the different views that are being expressed and researched at a university. We must have the right to take our research, our opinions, our inquiries where our conscience leads us without being fearful of the kinds of consequences of being fired or dismissed or having our salaries reduced. We have to fear consequences. The consequences we fear are the verdict of history. We risk looking like fools. We risk being wrong. And for an academic, there is no greater risk than the risk of turning out to be wrong. That's the essential constraint that a university imposes on its faculty. Remember, we're a university that has a divinity school. There are many who think that the worship of God or belief in supernatural aspects of religion are irrational. And yet theology was called the queen of the sciences. I think the verdict of history has proved that we can't stop human beings from asking questions about the origin of the universe, the destiny of the universe, what, if anything, is up above, what, if anything, is down below. We were created with the most inquiring of minds, and you just can't cut off inquiry by saying that's beyond the pale of rational thought. Do we have a monopoly on truth? Do we know that everything that we currently believe is going to turn out to be what science finally confirms in 1,000 years? I don't have that kind of confidence. In the end, the verdict of history might come down very, very harshly on Dr. Mack, but that's an area that he has ventured into. He has to satisfy himself and his conscience, not my conscience, and not the conscience of the president or the board of governors of the university.
Karen and I were involved for 6 to 8 months before we decided to get married.
When he met me, I was not having experiences or not aware that I was having experiences.
We were staying at her mom's. She had woken up the next morning and explained to me that she didn't know if what happened really happened, but she was very frightened, shaking. All I could be at that time was sympathetic. I also didn't know if it was just a one-time occurrence. I didn't know what Leah had. She had visions and or feelings of having left the house, left her bed, traveling through the glass door, the patio door, not being able to explain it. I think she was fighting with, on one hand, was it a dream? But it was too real to be a dream. On the other hand, if it was not a dream, what the heck was it?
Having some alien come in and something so alien come in and change your mate so much and have it happen in your own bed was something that he said was more than he wanted to deal with. I know the reality of these experiences just as much as anybody knows the reality of whatever happens to them during a day. The only difference is that we've been taught that it's not possible. So that's where the stuckness happens. That's where the break happens. That's where the frustration happens is, wait a minute, I know this is real, but this is not possible. Something's got to give. Either I have to lie to myself, say I'm not capable of defining what's real for me, defining the physicality, the density of this experience. I'm not capable of doing this because people tell me it's not possible. Or I have to consider the fact that maybe we don't have all the answers.